Welcome to another Tableau tutorial video. Today's topic wasn't necessarily a viewer request, but it's one that I've gotten a couple of questions on, so I thought I would do a video on it. And that is, how do you deal with data that's not there? Or how do you get the data to show up when nothing's been selected? Let me first start by saying Tableau is a data visualization tool. If the data is not there, you shouldn't be showing it. Okay, now that I'm off my soapbox, I'm going to use the sample Superstore data. And before I show you the Orders tab, let me show you this other sheet that I created. And it's going to be, because we're going to be doing a union. What we've got is, this is every column, every field that's in the original Orders database. Let me see if I can get rid of this. Okay, so we've got orders, and we're going to come over down here to sheet 1. We're going to show category in the columns and sales in the rows. And let's say you have a category that doesn't have any sales in it. Let's say clearance, and you want to have clearance shown on this chart. So what I've done is you go under data source, this sheets. We're going to create a new union. Actually, we're just going to pull the sheet 1, and you can see that it's kind of showing underneath there. It says drag table to union. So I'm going to drag it under the union. And the key is you have to have all the columns the same. So now when I come to sheet 1, it says sum of sales. There's a problem. Just have to, where is the sales? All right, so the sheet that I've got, it doesn't understand what it is, so we're going to convert that to a measure. We need to convert it to number, decimal. And now you see down here there's also clearance. You see this one null. This is saying that there is no sales. It's kind of a little indicator, a warning if you will. You can go ahead and just hide the indicator. And now you've got your chart. Okay, that's option 1. Option 2 is the same theory. It's a little more involved. Let's see here. We've got a quiz. All right, so we're going to pull over here. Questions, ID number, and responses A, B, C, or D. We're going to go to sheet 1. We're going to move question. We're going to call that a dimension. And so we have dimensions here, responses A, B, C, and D. And you'll notice that there's a couple of responses, a couple of questions that didn't get any of those responses selected. And on this chart here, that's no big deal. But I'm assuming what the person that asked this question wanted to do is have some sort of chart where the we'll just bring number of records under the bars. Get rid of the responses. And change this to bars. And sorry. What question is what's being filtered, and switch that. Okay. And so you've got the question, and as you're going through, you see A, B, and C. That's great. That's what people selected. And now we're looking at question 2. We also have 8 responses, A, B, C, and D. Question 3. This is where it gets a little bit confusing because you're missing B in the middle, right? Because we're going to come back here. I've already created this quiz possibilities, and it's got, we'll just take a look at the data. What you're going to see is that each question is repeated or has each possible response. A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, all the way through question 8. Okay? Now we're going to just bring this over. Going to do another union, and what you're going to see is you're going to see 2 new fields generated, sheet and table name. In most cases these are the same, So now when you look at these charts, you've got 1, and you've got a response for everything, because that response is showing up, and you don't want that. You want this to be blank. You want to see it, but you want it to be blank. So this is where we're going to have to create a calculated field. Going to pull it over here. We're going to call this real response. And what we're going to do is it's going to be an if-then statement. If, make this a little bigger, if sheet, and that one's one of the new fields, right? And so that's how you're going to be able to differentiate between the real responses to the questions and the dummy data that we generated just so you could have an ABCD. So we're going to have sheet 1 equals, what was it, quiz. Then we're going to just have it equal 1. Else, we want it to be null, right? And then end. And so the only way you're going to get it to be 1 is if the sheet is a quiz. And so then we'll hit OK. And now we're going to take the real response and we're going to dump that on the rows. And so now that disappears. And once again, you see that null saying, hey, wait a minute, there's a value in here that doesn't have any value. So we'll just hide that. And now as you go through, should be 8 responses. There's 8. And now you see A, B, C, D. And there's 8 responses there. And you don't get those dummy data that we added included in your chart. There you go. Keep the comments coming. I love them. Thank you for the subscribers out there. And don't hesitate to leave me a comment or an idea for a future video. Thanks for watching.